You're watching Tri Vibes TV. Welcome to another weekly training video where I'm here to talk through all of the training I'm doing to prepare for Ironman Texas coming up in just 4 weeks. In today's video, we'll take a look at my triathlon training last week, day by day. We'll take a look at my training plan for the week coming up ahead, and we'll check in with my training status according to Garmin. Overall, last week was a very enjoyable, productive training week that culminated in a race rehearsal yesterday where I rode 112 miles, the full Ironman distance, solo on the road on my own route. And I also ran 6 miles after that 112-mile ride as a test, a rehearsal, if you will, to check on things like my pacing on the bike, my nutrition intake on the bike, and also the very important question, how do I feel trying to run after riding my bike for 112 miles? So in this video today, I'll dive into how that race rehearsal went. If you're wondering what it feels like and looks like to ride 112 miles on a training day and ultimately spend about 8 hours training because of all the different stops I took on the ride and then the time to transition to running. I started at 6:30 in the morning. I was done by about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I am pretty rocked. If you can't tell, I've got quite the sunburn going on. I wore this tank top so you could just see the beautiful cycling kit tan, which of course is down here on my legs as well. We've got this wonderful, oh yeah, look at that line right there, baby. Woo! Besides the sunburn, I have a couple other fun aches and pains. Previously to riding the 112 miles the day before, I swam the full Ironman distance, so a big race rehearsal weekend. So starting on Saturday, I've got some chafing going on from my wetsuit in my armpits. I've got some chafing on the back of my neck from my wetsuit. I have a little bit of soreness from my eyes just from wearing the goggles. I can feel the goggles on my face even though I'm not wearing them anymore. Got a little bit of stiffness overall. Had a little bit of trouble even getting sleep last night, and I've had that in the past where I have a really long training day and it's like my body is sort of like not able to fully rest and recover that night. Yeah, definitely rocked a little bit today. Oh, and fun fact, I ended up taking about 14 gels during this long training day. And so I actually have like little sores on the insides of my lips from like where the gel packet goes into my mouth. So yeah, I'm certainly not here to try and pretend like I feel like $1,000,000 today after such a difficult day. Wanted to give you a little bit of insight into some of the little things and fun little behind the scenes feelings that I have, after a day of training like that. So that being said, let's start back at the beginning of last week and kind of work our way up there. So we're going to switch over to the TriSchedule app, which is the sponsor of today's video. TriSchedule is a fantastic new triathlon training app built for coaches and triathletes, and I really enjoyed using it this week to give my wife a workout. Yes, my wife has been trying to get back into running. I've been giving her a little bit of guidance every Friday as to what she should do on her run. And with the TriSchedule app, I was able to sit there, come up with a 3 by half mile tempo run workout. I created it right there on my phone. I was able to send it right to her in the app. And the coolest part is that she was just able to grab her Garmin, have it sync up with her phone like the Garmin Connect app. And when she went for her run, boom, that structured workout showed up right there on her watch. Fantastic integration and the ability to just like create a workout on my phone, share it with another athlete. This is pretty powerful stuff. And it's actually a lot easier to do this with the TriSchedule app than it is with other platforms. Won't get into specifics of using other platforms to share workouts, but it typically involves getting a computer involved, having a web browser with the right extensions. It's like so much more complicated than what you can do in TriSchedule. So definitely want to shout them out. Huge thanks for sponsoring the video, and I love the ability to create workouts and share them right on the app. So let's take a look at my training starting last week on Monday here in the TriSchedule desktop. Monday was a pretty simple day, nice easy swim, done and dusted. Moving on to Tuesday, woke up, did some strength training in the morning, more squats, more box jumps, more core work, some pull-ups and push-ups too. I also had a interval ride on Tuesday, which I did indoors here on Zwift, and then I had a nice brick run afterwards out at the park. A little bit of a speedier run. I like to take my runs on Tuesday, my run off the bike on Tuesday. I typically run a little bit faster than my Ironman run pace, and it's a nice way to sort of get those legs moving and sort of push the effort a little bit once a week. So really good training day on Tuesday with the strength, the bike, and the run. On to Wednesday, another shout out to TriSchedule here because I did the workout, I built the workout rather here in TriSchedule, and it synced up to my watch and it was super simple. Loved it. Really easy workout. Well, not easy workout, but a very simple structured workout, just 3 by 1 mile repeats. But it was really nice to just have the watch just walk me through every step of it. And it was so easy to put the workout together on the TriSchedule app. First interval about 7:45 pace. And if you look, my heart rate was about 152. Second one, a little bit faster with a lower heart rate. I felt like I really settled in on that second interval. And then the last one, fastest at 7:40 with my heart rate 151. Really loved that. And I also went for a nice walk with my son on Wednesday as well. Just a little active recovery. I'm a huge fan of active recovery. On Thursday, more strength training in the morning and then a very nice easy ride. I like to go to the park and just ride loops around and around and around in a circle. It's a really good practice staying in the aero bars and just like going around in circles. You get the wind changing constantly. I love doing easy rides outdoors. Definitely prefer outdoor easy rides to indoor easy rides. But then conversely, I love interval rides indoors, right? So I'm very, very fortunate to have, the best of both worlds, the opportunities to ride indoors and outdoors here where I live in Houston. So Thursday, pretty solid day. Friday was a off day. I had a rest day, and you might not know me well, but this might tell you a little bit about me. So I had to go and find a way to work out for 90 minutes, right, on my off day. But what I ended up doing was so much fun. I went and did a bike ride with my son. Super leisurely pace. Look at this, 6.4 miles per hour. I think my average heart rate was probably like 88, 89 BPM. So like I just said, I love active recovery. I'm convinced that doing a very easy bike ride like this is just as good as, if not better than being sedentary for the day. So Friday, easy day. And then Saturday really began the 2-day race rehearsal extravaganza. So I did not quite fit in the full Ironman distance on my open water swim on Saturday. Went to this facility, Twin Lakes RV Resort. It was awesome. I really enjoyed swimming there. I'm going to go back a couple more times before race day for sure. During that open water swim, I was really excited to be able to swim with my wetsuit for the first time in months. Also, other open water training facilities I've been to in the past require a swim buoy. However, this one said you must have a swim buoy or a wetsuit and didn't require both, which means I got to swim in my wetsuit without my pool buoy flapping around and getting in my way. I'm very fortunate to be a confident open water swimmer. I did all of my first decade of triathlon training in the Pacific Ocean when I lived in Hawaii. I'm very comfortable in the open water. I really love pull buoys. I love the idea, the floaty. It's an awesome safety system. But for me, the opportunity to go swim without it, simulating race day, I was really excited about it. I am trying to swim under 90 minutes for Ironman Texas. I swam 1:15 last year. The pace I swam on Saturday would put me right around 2 hours, 25 minutes. So mission accomplished, and I really enjoyed my swim there as well. Also had the chance to speak with, there were probably 40 other triathletes there, a lot of them getting ready for Ironman 70.3 Texas coming up this weekend here in Galveston. And I got to put my coach hat on, help some of our Powerhouse athletes, including one of our Powerhouse Patriots athletes, get in their first open water swimming training environment. And I couldn't be prouder of the effort that those 3 athletes put in. They faced their fears, they jumped in the water, and they crushed it. So really, really motivating day on Saturday with a good swim. Now on to this race rehearsal. I touched on it earlier in the intro here. Yesterday was, I feel like it was a transformative day because it's the first time that I feel like I can confidently say that I really wrapped my head around the idea of riding for 112 miles. I think every other time I've ridden more than even 80 miles, there's an element of sort of shock in my brain where I'm like, I can't quite fathom doing it. It's like, I know I can do it, but I know it's going to be a struggle, and I wrestle with that. I can confidently say that for the entire 112 miles, which you can see here on the map, quite an extensive route, I felt great about what I was doing. I didn't question my life choices. I didn't feel like I was suffering. Honestly, the hardest part of this 112 mile ride was really just all of the stopping that I needed to do for traffic lights and things like that, because I would just be feeling really like in the zone. I'm feeling good, and starting and stopping mentally is tough too, right? So I just had to stop a lot, and which means I have to get started again a lot. And that really ended up taking a toll on me. I'm not going to lie. You can see, I think if we look at my speed here, every one of these lines where you see the speed going down drastically is pretty much a stop. And oh my God, the last 10 miles, if you look at all of these stops, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like it was brutal. I was so over it. All right. So like that was the only thing that got to me was the traffic lights. It didn't, my legs felt good. My arms felt good. My neck felt good. And I still had the ability to ride around 200 watts of power, even in the last few miles of the ride. Now, piggybacking off of that feeling of having my head wrapped around the 112 miles, I was also really very happy with how I felt on my run. The last time I rode 112 miles was last year at Ironman Texas, and believe me when I tell you, when I got off my bike last year to try and get ready to run a marathon, I could barely walk. Like my feet just were like shooting up with pain. My legs felt like they didn't want to move. My upper body was destroyed. Like I was like really, really, really close to just calling it right when I got off my bike last year. That's how close. Really glad that I pushed through. However, the experience that I had yesterday running at about 9 18-minute miles, 150 BPM heart rate was just exhilarating. It felt like getting a gift that I've been like hoping for years, because I've as someone who's been an aspiring Ironman for a long time now, I've often wondered how athletes actually do what I was able to do yesterday, which is ride 112 miles and then run off your bike. So I can't stress enough how happy I am, and I also can't stress enough how much I appreciate my coach for putting together this training plan. I really feel like this is like my 5th year working with my coach. I feel like he's learned through that process what works for me and what doesn't. And this Ironman training build, it's my 3rd one, and so far it is by far the best one. So I think that's pretty much everything I'd like to say about that race rehearsal yesterday. Honestly, still sort of processing all of it. And hoping I get much better sleep tonight, because whew, I am rocked today, man. I need to get recovered and ready for this week's training, which is what we're going to take a look at really briefly here as well. Let's take a look at what I've got on tap for this week. So today, very easy. I call this an active recovery day. I went to the pool this morning and swam very easy, 249 per 100 average pace. Definitely just flopping around in the pool, but felt really nice to get in the water. I also I had an hour run on my plan today, but I talked with my coach a little bit, told him that I wasn't really sure if I wanted to try and run for an hour. He listened right away and said, you know what, let's just cut it down to half an hour, super easy. And I came up with a little bit of a compromise. I went and did that 30-minute run, and then I did about a 25-minute walk. So I got that hour on my feet that was on my original plan. And I gotta say, I'm really glad I actually went and ran because just walking over to the park, getting ready to run, I was feeling pretty banged up. I was like feeling my left hamstring and my hips, and I'm just thinking, man, it's probably gonna suck to start running. Like in my head, I decided I wanted to try to get out of the run, right? So, needless to say, walking back after the run, my body felt so much better than it did walking over. So I gotta say, that's why I really like having a coach, because if it were up to me, I probably would have skipped the run altogether. And instead, I went, asked the question, can I run today? And the answer was yes, albeit at 10:42 minutes per mile pace, but I felt good. I felt smooth, man. So I feel like I'm off to a good start today. I'm really hoping to get into yoga tonight, and it is going to be the groan zone. I'm going to be pretty stiff, but I'm really hoping to go get stretched out tonight in yoga. Tomorrow, interval ride on the bike, 15-minute zone 3, 10-minute zone 4, 5-minute zone 5. That'll be fun to get my heart rate up. And then a 20-minute run. And can't forget, actually, got to go ahead and add in my strength training as well. We got Woo-Car Strength tomorrow morning. Very nice and easy to do. We're going to tell it how long it's going to take me. So you can see this is the little workout builder. I'm just going to put a very simple exercise for time, and I'm going to say it takes me about 45 minutes to get through a strength workout. So yep, no need to structure these strength training workouts. I'm happy to just sort of keep it simple, 45 minutes. On to Wednesday, we have 3,500 yard pool swim, and I'm gonna try doing this one with the sync up to my watch. So I've built my swim workout here in Tri-Schedule. As you can see, 300 warm up, 200 yard kick, 4x50 freestyle, and then 9 times 300 freestyle. This will be my first time trying one of these Tri-Schedule workouts in the pool. So curious to see how that's gonna go on Wednesday. And then I have an interval run on Wednesday as well. Thursday, 2-hour easy ride. Looking forward to that. Friday, open water swimming. I'm going to go back out to Twin Lakes and get some more open water time. Easy run after the swim. Saturday, I've got a long run, 16-mile run on Saturday. That will be my longest run yet. I'm hoping to get that done somewhere around 2 hours and 2 hours and 20 minutes. We'll see how that goes. And Sunday, I have a 3.5-hour trainer ride and a 20-minute brick run. So, solid week of training coming up. Last thing we'll do here, let's check in. I have a little surprise for y'all. I have a surprise. What do you see? Where do you see what Garmin thinks about my training status? Ta-da! Productive! That's right. When I hopped out of the water on Saturday and saved my open water swim, I was greeted with a green icon, and it said my training status was productive. And y'all, it has been, I had like 1 day of productive training back in December, and then in November. It has been months since Garmin thinks I'm productive. So I'm very happy about that. Also, when I hopped out of the pool on Saturday, my training load was 10:13 on the dot. And if you see here, I do have 10:13 tattooed on my arm. So I was stoked to see 1013 and productive training status. So Garmin has been my friend the last couple of days. And as you can see, my training load, I really took a dip when I got sick last 2 weeks, but my goodness me, look at the way it has been building up. Look at that. Really happy with that. And I've been able to keep my HRV balanced pretty much the whole time. So definitely a lot to celebrate this week. And, I really unpacking these long training days is something that I really look forward to every week. So I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to this. If you have any questions, feedback about my training, or any of the things I talk about, including the TriSchedule app, please go ahead and drop a comment, reach out. I am always happy to read comments, answer comments, reply to them. And just like last week, the link for the TriSchedule app will be in the description of this video if you'd like to check out the TriSchedule app yourself and get 3 months of free access to all of the features that it has to offer. So that's all for today. Thanks again for listening. I'll be back next Monday with another training video. Take care.